chance to give your opening remarks.
It's your boy Young Love, I give him that time. Pancho leg stay the punchy America, Banyi Dwal, Pancho leg stay the punchy America, Banyi Dwal, Banaban, walk on the lake, Kankaro, what I know watching, Ogal, leg, gear, pow, very leg, Panda with Yay, Panchi America, Panya Dwalabano, Chingatongo Pandon, could you ever buy a check out, Paku Panda Jiro, what they are be Dwalaventing. Stay the punchy America, Banyi Dwal, Banaban, Pancho leg stay the punchy America, Banyi Dwal, Banaban, walk on the lake, Kankaro, what I know watching, Ogal, leg, gear, pow, very leg, Panda with Yay, Panchi America, Panya Dwalabano, Chingatongo Pandon, could you ever buy a check out, Paku Panda Jiro, what they are be Dwalaventing.
Thank you. Welcome to Lagos State Media Beyond Boundaries, wherever you are tuning in. And in the studio with us is Honorable Minister of Education, Lagos State, Honorable Nelson Makoi Makur is here with us today to talk to the citizen of Lagos State and South Sudanese of goodwill in general in regard to the education sector in Lagos State. And he will tell us more of his achievements so far in the office. He has been in the office for less than 7 months, and he has something to tell us in regard to his docket, and will also tell us about the challenges that are facing him or the state leadership in regard to the education sector. And subsequently, we'll move to the recent conference, which were concluded last week in Lagos State, where the National Minister of Higher Education, Honorable Deng Acuil, was in the conference or in the attendance. So we'll talk much and explore more in regard to the education. And as we are all aware that education is the only better things anybody can do in order to transform the society. And for the benefit of doubt to all viewers, I also request you once more to share the video live so that your colleague will get to listen to our honorable and our guest in the studio today. And also it's worth noting and mentioning that our minister in Lagos State is a master's degree holder. And if we are going to rank the 10 state ministers of education, then he will be among the top highly educated minister in that regard. So he is fit in his docket, and he has more to share with the citizen of Lagos State and South Sudanese in general. Honorable Nelson Makoi, you're highly welcome. Give us your opening remark, and thereafter we'll move to our discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lagos State Media team, and particularly Comrade Makoi Makur Malak. I am honored to be hosted by Lagos State Media to give my few remarks with regards to education status in Lagos State since my appointment in February 2022. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the team who organized this show for me to give some highlights on education sector. And first, let me appreciate and thank my governor, the governor of Lagos State, LT General Rintoin Mabur, for making Lagos State a great place, a great state that hosting the people of South Sudan, that is peaceful, whereby the law is restored, the communal violence has been restored, the peace has been achieved, and what next if we achieve the peace? The next challenge is how we can develop Lake State. This is the next challenge, and these are the questions linking in the minds of all citizens of Lake State. So, as the Minister of Education, this is an opportunity for myself and my team in the education sector so that we can improve education in Lake State. And in fact, let me mention few things that I have done when I took over my office in March 2022. When I assumed the office, the office of the Minister of General Education and Instruction in Lake State, I began to look into the calendar, and in fact, the national calendar was one, and we supposed to open in February, but unfortunately, due to COVID-19 pandemic, we delay a little bit until we open school in May, on the 2nd of May, 2022. With regard to that period, what I began with was to issue the policy. What I found in most of the school, one, the students, some students used to move from school to school without proper scrutinizations, without proper screening exercise, without proper identification of a school that most of the school are admitted into their schools. I issued a policy that there will be no school that will admit a random movement of students from school to school. A student must produce a letter of transfer, a letter of good conduct, and why he's moving from this school to another school. This is one thing, a policy that I issued, so that the school must open and should observe some regulations. And then the third one, a policy that I did, I found that there are some schools that operate in a different school. You can find one school hosting about 3 to 4 schools, like morning lectures or morning teaching, and then evening, and then afternoon chiefs in academic. When I came in, I said, no, we will not have this policy. There will be no need that a school without premises will not operate in Lake State. So I banned them. I give instructive and directives that every school, whether private school or public school, must have a learning space for our learners to benefit from that learning environment. So I banned most of the schools who operate within another school premises, and we did that one successfully. Then thirdly, we got a good news in June, where our education fund, our education budget was allocated to the State Ministry of General Education and Instruction. In fact, we thank Comrade Honorable Awut Deng Acuil, the National Minister of General Education and Instruction of the Republic of South Sudan, for making sure that the education sector is improved so that our children, our peoples, our kids may have right to quality education and have access to education. When we receive this budget, I sat in my office and I say that now, what I identified in most of the government school, the teachers deserted the government school because of low pay and because of delayed of salaries. So most of our teachers who are in the school, of which they were deployed previously in before my appointment, I got them, they were not in the school. So when I came in, I found out that some of the schools were being run by volunteers. Then when we received the budget, we said that no, we have to scrutinize and screen the real teachers who are in class so that we pay them this money in form of allowances so that we will motivate our teachers to go into class. The objectives was to increase the salary of teachers so that the teachers go to class, because most of the government teachers deserted the government school. They go to work with NGOs. They went to look for green pastures. Some of them went to private school, community school, and while they are in our payroll. So I came in and I formed the committee. It worked from school to school, from county to county, identifying who are the teachers in our government school and who are with us in the pay sheet and they are not active in government school. So I managed successfully. We pay our teachers according to the policy by the National Ministry of General Education. We pay our teachers based on this new salary structure. And then we identify those who are not active in government school, and they will be asked where were they and where are they. So this is the one. These are the few things I have done in the office. And then in June or early July, we had a conference in WOW. The National Minister of General Education, Honorable Awut Deng, convenes a conference in WOW whereby the 4 state ministers of education of Greater Bargazal have attended, including our education partners, which is UNICEF, the UNESCO, and some other stakeholders that are supporting education sector in South Sudan. We convened in that conference and we discussed a range of issues, the important issues under the theme of transforming education and access in South Sudan. The issues raised and the issues we discussed in that conference were including the safe school environment. We talk about it. We also talk about the digital learning because both of our schools are analog and they are not a modernized way of delivering education. Then we talk on the teachers and teaching professions, on how our teachers can be really professional in terms of delivering teaching services and quality education. We talk about quality education itself and access. And then we talk on financing education sector, the key, because the more we put more money in education sector, this is where we can get more qualified teachers to come and deliver professional teaching services to our people. So we convenes that conference and we had some important resolutions of which we will implement by this year. And recently, in August, on 15 August, 16 August to 18th, early this month, we had the same conference. We call it General Education Annual Review Gear. In that conference, it is usually convenes every year to evaluate the status of education, what we achieve, what are the challenges, and what will be the way forward. In the recent conference, the Minister of General Education, Honorable Awut, took upon herself, despite of the same conference being run across the country, he had decided to go to Lagos State to go and participate on herself, their capacity as the National Minister of Education. So she came and participated in that conference, and we discussed key 3 important issues. Among the issues we discussed in the recent conference include the access and equity. Education must be accessible to all the children across South Sudan, to all the people. It is a basic right based on our constitutions. Education is a basic right to everyone. And then it must be inclusive according to South Sudan constitutions and according to SPLM manifesto, which is strategic objectives. So education must be inclusive for everyone, whether you are disabled, whether you are a woman, whether you are old, whether you are young, whether you are what, you must have right to access to education. That's one part we discussed in the conference. And the second part we talked in the conference was quality education. Because the education we have in South Sudan is not quality, because we have most of the teachers teaching in the school are not qualified, because the qualified teachers left the teaching professions and they join private sector, they join places where they can access what they can feed for their families. So for us to have quality education, we also talk about it as a matter of concern. And then the other one we talk as number 3 in the same conference was efficiency. The efficiency involves a lot of issues, like education funding must involve transparency, must involve accountability, must involve issues of leadership and management. So these were the few things we discussed in that conference under the theme of transforming education and access in the Republic of South Sudan, and particularly in Lagos State. So we concluded with the communique and we signed the communique, and the conference was attended by the Minister of Education, Honorable Awut herself, the Governor of Lagos State, Honorable Makoi Makur, and the county education directors, the deputy directors, some headmasters invited from few schools, and then stakeholders like the Education Coalition, the UNICEF, and the UNESCO, Save the Children, Windle Trust International, among other partners, education partners, were also present in the conference. So we have signed the communique, and this communique will represent the position of Lagos State in terms of issues involving what we achieve and the challenges we have in education sector, and then how we can improve education in Lagos State. So these were the few things we talk about, and then we concluded successfully for 3 days conference, and the resolutions and the report were brought to Juba, and we will have another conference this month, especially on the 29th. We'll also look into the status of education across South Sudan, and each state must be asked to present the status of their states, status of education in each state. Then we will come up now with the resolutions. So these are the few things I would like to share with you, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Wow, thank you so much, Honorable. It seems you gave us a very good inside information, and it sounds like you are cleaning the education system in our states and also within South Sudan. And cleaning mean a lot. Even when your room is dirty and you take a sweep to clean, you feel comfortable and you feel relieved. So it's a good step, and it was a good move. It must be acknowledged and it should be appreciated. There was a certain a clip or writings which was wrote in South Africa. I think you came across that on social media, which was saying, if you want to destroy the nation, you don't need to bomb it. You don't need to shoot it. Just lower the quality of education. And then your country will be in a deep mess. And as one of the youth who is now leading such vital docket, and you had a privilege of visiting some of the leading nations on earth, including China, where you earn your masters in, and you were so much active in youth politics during your undergraduates in Uganda. What are some of the challenges comparing the other leadership which you used to be before you even became the Minister of Education in Lagos State? You were also minister in Eastern Lake, defunct Eastern Lake State, before they were reverted back to Tennessee State. What are the challenges that you have encountered through this cleaning of the education sector in Lagos State? You have mentioned in your opening remark that the first thing that you did was to clean the payroll and the system of public government schools to know exactly who are bona fide teachers that are delivering real education in Lagos State and who are not committed, so that you can do away with them and focus with the few ones, because when you have few and they have quality, it's better than having quantity which don't even have meaning. So what are the challenges that you encountered before we move to other questions? Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much, Comrade Makoi Makur. In fact, in education, in particular in Lagos State, there are so many challenges. When you come into reform, as I mentioned before, we are talking of transforming education in Lagos State. And transforming education, there are a lot of challenges. When I came to the Ministry of General Education at the state level, I found out that education, in fact, has been hijacked by few individuals. Okay, there are some individuals who are running government school, have their own company. Okay, and another one, I found out that education is being run by unqualified personnel and qualified people, and these people, they have no qualification. Some of them drop out in high school, some of them drop out in primary school, and they are the one running education. Another one I found as a challenge is that there are people who are working in education. They are in the payroll and they are not active in education. But when salary come, they will just receive the money and go. When the salary come every month, they receive the money and go. When I came in, what I asked as a question, I was asking the people concerned, the administrators, what is the need for the government paying these people when they are not delivering anything to us? Is there a need to pay these people? There is no need completely. I came in to identify individuals. I came in to screens that were first step. And then another one I found as a challenge. There are three categories in education. The first category were the old teachers who taught us during the Bush school, during the Bush days. These teachers are old enough to run the modern education we need. Okay, they are too old, and they are the running system. This is one group. If you see them in the system, they are not delivering anything, and they are old, and you have nowhere to take them. This is the first group. The second group are semi-illiterate. These semi-illiterate have nowhere to go. Some of them drop out in school and they disturb people that they are teachers. They go to school and capture some schools and they run some schools as headmasters, as teachers, and they are semi-illiterate. And this group, if you touch them, it is also another problem. Two, the third group are the graduates of education. These graduates of education, they found education sector that there is nothing to feed your family, there's nothing to earn from there, and they love education. They love education and they'll go and talk over social media, they talk under trees, they talk that education is dead, education is not going on well, we have been blocked out from education, yet they are not coming to introduce themselves, they are not coming to help the field of their own profession. So these are three categories I have found in education system of Lagos State. Then I came in with the policy that if this is the case, there must be few things I supposed to do. One is to identify our whole teachers who are whole, and so long we don't have the pension scheme, the pension policy in the Republic of South Sudan, we have nowhere to take these old people. We'll keep them in our ministry headquarters, we'll put them in administration department so that they will be receiving their salary without allowances. And then we'll screen those who have no qualification and they are in our pay sheet. We put them aside. Then we will recruit the new teachers, the fresh graduates, those who have qualifications in accordance to General Education Act, so that we deploy them in the schools to deliver the quality education we need in Lagos State. So the challenge I found is to handling this complexity of education, because this is concerning people's interests. Like recently, when I came up with policy, and it is the national policy, that when teachers' allowances, the salary top up of the teachers, it can be paid only to a teacher in class. When I said these are the policy, the other group jump out that they deserve also allowances. Then I say, how can we pay you chalk allowances when you are not teaching in school? These allowances is meant only for a teacher in class, not for you in the pay sheet, and you are not a teacher, a real teacher in school. So these are the pure challenges I really experience, because I'm fighting with the different group, the people who need to eat this money, and then I say, no, you cannot deserve the money because you are not a teacher. So these are the challenges that I'm facing a lot, and continuously I am facing compared to the other dockets that I have held before, because I'm fighting to make sure that education budget must go to the right teachers, must go to the real teachers who deserve it, those who are in class, not somebody in the pay sheet and is sitting at home or is working with NGOs or is there roaming, sitting in T places and is not teaching in any school. So this is the policy I have, and this is the major challenges I'm facing now in education.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable, for that. Sometimes it's very dynamic to deal with South Sudanese. Even if you bring Jesus Christ to come and govern them, Jesus will also face a lot of challenges. So challenges are always there, and this is not new to you. You have encountered most of challenges before, who were actually heavier compared to the challenges that we are facing now. We are hopefully that you will overcome them and to set education system at the right track. That is the only place that we can rescue South Sudan.
Exactly.
Otherwise, the South Sudan of next 25 years will be worse than the South Sudan of today if we don't transform the education sector. Minister, Honorable, you made a lot of policies in the recent past, and there are two policies which stood out as the government of Lagos State, and they are directly linked to your docket. The citizens will love you to make more or to shed more light about those policies. Number one was the policy of free girl child education.
Exactly.
We heard about that, and it was so impressive. And many citizens of Lake, not only Lagos State, but the entire South Sudan were happy with that policy. But there are some circumstances that surrounded that policy. Can you elaborate more? How did you arrive to that policy? And how do you think that policy will be effective considering the cultural aspect of our society? Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you very much. You have arrived into very critical questions, and this is a policy by the Lagos State government and the Ministry of General Education with regard to girl education. In fact, I picked up the policy when I attended the Girl Child Education Day. The Girl Child, we call it National Girl Education Day. The National Girl Education Day was declared by our late founding father of the SPLM, Dr. John Garang Damabior. He declared the 7th of July as the National Girl Day, whereby we, as the government, we commemorate and celebrate this day to urge and encourage our girls and motivate them to go to school. So during that day, I had many stories of girls not being in school, girls drop out because of some challenges they face in school, and then some cultural barriers and other more challenges facing girls and issues of school peace. During that time, I declared the girl education as free in Lagos State in general. I have been standing firm. I've been standing firm over this policy on girl education, and girl school must be free. Then I really pursue with the policy so that girl cannot be charged in any school. According to General Education Act 2012, education is free and compulsory in the Republic of South Sudan. So we are pursuing this policy as the law, and there will be no anybody to charge girl to ask a school fees. And in Lagos State, education is free. All schools are free. There is nothing. What they ask is what they call community contribution, and this community contribution is very small piece. It's about 3,500 pounds. It's very small. They were requesting it to support the school because of delayment of salary, because government salary sometimes delayed. So they asked each child to contribute the community 3,500 community contribution fee. When I came in, I found it and I was told that they need to increase it to make it 5,000 as community contribution. I said, no, education is free. If that is the matter and you have nothing to run the school, you just make it 3,500. And it is not a must. There are poor families who are not able to afford 3,500. No, it cannot be a condition to send away a child from a school. It cannot be a condition to intimidate whoever is not able to pay this one. No, I say it is a big no to all headmasters. I say it is a big no to all education managers. That education is free. It is a will. If parents contribute this money, fine. If they don't contribute, don't ask them and don't bother. If you need anything, especially girl education, come to my office and I will fill the gap that you need to support girl education. So it is a policy. Girl education is free in Lagos State and has been declared. Another policy is from the governor of Lagos State, Rintoy Mabor. He had declared early marriage and forced marriage of girl education as illegal in Lagos State. It is illegal by law. If you possibly marry a school girl by force, you will be jailed. If you possibly grab the girl to marry her, you will be jailed Or if you force a girl to go and marry somebody she doesn't like, you will also be jailed. So this is the law, and it was passed by the assembly recently with what we call Lagos State Customary Law and Public Order Management Bill. That bill was passed into law, and part of post-marriage and early marriage to girl child education has been prohibited by law. And our governor is standing behind this. It's very serious, and he promised that he's taking education with security concurrently. He has succeeded with the issues of security in Lagos State, and he is now taking the lead in education. So he will stand by me, myself as the minister, and we will move on together to make sure that education is progressing well in Lagos State, to make sure that our kids, our children, are receiving better education. As you mentioned before, for a nation to be collapsed, if you want to fail a nation, deliver a low education, then you kill the nation. No, we say no. Our governor say no. President Kiir say no. Minister Awut say no, and I also say no. We must deliver quality education. So the low education we have now in South Sudan is very poor and is bad. Recently, I had a surprise visit to some school, few school. I went to Yangador Secondary School. I went to Rumbek Girl Primary School. I went to Thorais Primary School. What I found was really miserable. You can see a child with something he wrote by him or herself. When you have a child read it, he's not able to read it. This is low education, and we will make sure that by next year, up to this time, what we will deliver will be different from now. So these are the policies we have, and they are key policies, and we will stand by it.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Nelson Makoi. These two policies are the one which I was referring to. One is the earlier marriage. A girl child is prohibited by the policies of Lagos State. But the question is, Honorable, how will you be in a position to disseminate these policies, at least to be understood by each and every one in Lagos State, rise away from Boomer level, Payam, county, up to the state headquarters? And you know, our people sometimes, once they hear the policy and it is not yet articulated or being placed on their desk, they always give it a deaf ear, and they sometimes violate and pass that policy unknowingly. At the issue of girl child education, let's start with it. There are numerous teachers in our schools, and you said before, some of them deserted teaching simply because they are not even earning something to sustain themselves or to make a living out of it. So they write to NGO sector where they can earn some money. Others which cannot meet criterion of getting job with NGOs sometimes confine themselves around the trees to take tea and start discussing what is happening within the government, either from the state government or county government or even Payam level, all the way to the national government. And statistics has shown us that most of citizens now gender, the female gender is almost 60% compared to the male gender. And I truly believe the same thing applies to high school or primaries. If you go to them now, the statistic that you may possibly be having, girls could possibly be more compared to male students or pupils. If we go by Ryangdor Primary School as one of the examples, what will you do? Because if you give girls free education, whatever subsidies which they used to pay or their parent to pay can supplement what your ministry give to the teachers. If you scrap up that subsidies, do you have a plan of replacing, at least to meet the requirements and the portion which girl child education was contributing toward the teaching staff and maintenance of the schools? What have you done about that? Number two, what will you do to these teachers at the grassroots level? Some of them don't even have that information. And even now, as we speak, people are paying from Juba, from diaspora, they're paying their daughters school fees. How will you disseminate this information to reach them? And how will you compensate the fee which were paid by girls, pupils and girl students? Thank you, Honorable.
I think, thank you very much for the question. In fact, let me repeat myself. First of all, education is free according to the law. According to General Education Act 2012, education is free, both girls and boys. The reason why teachers were asking this community contribution, it was because of low pay. It was because the salary delayed. But now, there is no low payment of teachers again. We have increased the salary of teachers, okay, of which there will be no charges of these students. It is free, both girls and boys. The reason we single out girls, it is because girls have a lot of issues to continue with their studies. If you read the statistic of the rate of girl drop out annually is very high compared to boys. The reason girls drop out from school, there are a lot of issues involved based on their own private things. Some girls, if they don't have sub, if you do, a girl does do not have a sub or a lotion to oil herself to look beautiful, she will go and look at her colleague who is not in school and she got married and she's shining. She may think that why do I waste time now, and my sister so and so is very shining. She got married and she's being supported by her husband. Therefore, I should get married. Why do I waste my time with this school? Then from there, girl drop out. The other issue girl drop out is issues of school fees. If they are being asked, if they are being charged by the teachers and parents do not have way to find some school fees, parents may advise her, what is your problem now with these issues of school fees? Now continue with cooking and do other homework and other services and to help with this school. So we identify these issues facing girls. That's why we single girl out at the ministry, and we will advocate this policy through many channels. One channel will be community outreach. We talk with traditional authorities. We talk with local authorities, the sultanates, the commissioners, the local government administrators, and the communities and the PTA. Will lobby through them. Will make awareness to make sure that girl education is free. Girl cannot be charged. Take your girl to school and do everything. Favor your girl. We'll do this. Then we also know that there is number of boys, as you mentioned, maybe girl can be more than boy. No, based on our cultural barriers, it will never happen. Because you know our people, especially the Dinka community, are very conservative and they don't support girl child education. So it is a matter of policy as the government. We pursue it, we make awareness, we hedge our community, take girls to school. On the teachers, as I mentioned, yes, we have good salary now, a good package for the teachers. And this good package is enough for them. And I am sure the way our minister, the way our national leadership, including President himself, took over the issue of education as a matter of concern, may improve more in education sector. In the recent budget, education sector has been increased from 10% to 12%. This is a milestone achievement. And we are continuing increasing the package of our teachers to pay them more so that they should stop asking contribution from our children, so that they must stop from there. We will also increase the package for our teachers to go to classes and teach our children. So these are the policies we pursue and we'll stand for it. So there will be no problem from there.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable. It's one of the vital policies, as you mentioned. You need to reach out to the community and let them know that this is the policy. And you know our culture, as you mentioned, in one of the countries which you spend most of your time in, and that is Uganda. Once you have two children, a female and a male, that is girls and a boy, and you have school fees for one child for that term, Ugandan always pay for their daughters and said, you boy, you have to stay home, you wait until I'll be stable financially. The reason was simple, or the reason is simple rather. They believe that the educations of girl child always benefit the parents more than the education of boy child. Because they refer boy child, the education is always beneficial to the in-laws. But in South Sudan is the reverse. we believe boy child is more valuable compared to a girl child. So when citizens heard about the free girl child education in Lagos State, it was something very unique, and it can make your leadership with the governorin be remembered for generations to come. And the illegalization of early child marriage, this has caused deathly our girls and our daughters in that state, and not only in Lagos State, across the country as South Sudan, especially pastoralist communities by Dinka and Nuer nation or society, including Murle. So it's a good thing. It might be adopted by other states from your state. Thank you for that. Another question, Honorable, you have a lot to answer. And you know citizens were waiting patiently to hear from you. There was an issue of teachers which happened 2 months or 1 month ago. Kindly, can you shed more light about that? Because sometimes Facebook and social media in general, as you know very well, will always trigger information and give information which are not even accurate the way they happens on the ground. You are the right person to explain to the citizen of Lagos State what was the genesis of teachers going on a strike and what prompted your leadership to arrest teachers, and what step have you taken? Because we have had teachers were released, they were taken to the court and they were released on bail, and today also we have had that they were being acquitted by the court due to the lack of evidence. Kindly, can you elaborate more in regard to the issue of teachers? Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you so much. That is a cross-cutting issue, and it is a matter of concern with the Ministry of General Education at the state level. In fact, as I explained before, and I used to update the public on this matter, when we received the money, the education budget, I stated clearly that this money will not go to the people who are not in class. This money will not go to the individuals who are not active teachers. When we received the budget, it was a package from the National Ministry. It contained the nature of job allowances. And this nature of job allowances, we branded it chalk allowances, because the nature of job for a teacher is chalk. When I received the money, I say, yeah, this is a good achievement, and we will not pay this money because the payroll system, the pay sheet of the Ministry of General Education is very corrupted. There are ghost names, okay? The names are there. And let me be frank to you, Majuk, if you see the pay sheet of the ministry, you can find some of the all education managers employ their wives. Some of them employ their relative and they put them grade 10, grade 11, grade 12, grade 8, grade 9, and they write in the pay sheet as teachers. Okay? I say no, this money will be a waste. If we release this money to all these pay sheet, it will go to the wrong group. Let us screen the pay sheet. Let us identify the real teachers in class. On doing this, a group of elements begin to mobilize the teachers that their money was not paid according to the national structure. And my argument to them was that now, when we receive the money like this, first of all, you receive the salary. Receive your salary as usual, and I will work out the issue of allowances to be top up to your salaries based on the real teacher in class, not anybody in the pay sheet. So we have to scrutinize the pay sheet, identify who is the real teacher, and I promise them this money will be paid by the committee. And exactly when I pay the money by the committee, my joke, to be honest with you, I have screened the pay sheet. About 1,000 names were ghost names in the State Ministry of General Education. And then, instead of allowing me with this policy to screen the pay sheet and identify the teachers, a group of elements mobilize themselves that they are rejecting the money. They reject the salary. They went to Parliament with the petition. I was called by the Speaker. I told the Speaker the policy point blank that, Speaker, I cannot release this money because there is God's name. There are some names in the pay sheet of which these sums are not teachers. And if you say the salary, if you see the salary structure here, it is meant for teachers. Only, it is meant for teachers. I cannot release the money. I have to examine the payroll system to identify the teachers from each school to school, because some of the teachers deserted government school and they are in the payroll. There's no need we pay allowances for the government money to somebody who is not working in government school. No, I say no. This is a very big no. So I was given a time to prepare myself. I invited the Minister of Finance. I invited the Minister of Labor and Public Service, so that these allowances were put in the payroll system, so that it become a system. In the process, eventually, when I'm preparing myself, a group of people attacked me in the office. They came and stormed the Department of Finance, intimidating the accountant, the cashier, that why are you paying the money? And we say that we don't receive the money. Then they wrote a petition, they went to Parliament. I instructed my private secretary. I told them, call this group to come to me so that I explain myself to them. They refused. They say that we went to Parliament, we don't need to listen to you. When I say I even went to the media explaining it this way, the way I explain it, they went to their tea places that they say that he's lying. He's going to eat our money. I say, how do we eat the money? This is for teachers, and I mean it as a minister. I took an oath of office that I should improve quality education in Lagos State. I took an oath of office, oath of allegiance that I should do better to the people of Lagos State. If I release public funds to elements or individuals who are not working with the government, then I breach the oath of allegiance. I should do the right things, even if you hate me, I should do the right thing. And to be honest, Majuk, individuals, they're politicizing the thing that I mentioned before. Education has been politicized. When I came in, there were some group were lobby to be deployed as county education directors. If you fail not to achieve this, you turn into enemy.
Yeah, sorry, our viewers. It seems honorable has issues with the internet again. And up to this juncture, we can still appreciate the internet or network in Lagos State is trying also to become like the people themselves in Lagos State, which is a good thing. Compared to the internet or network in Acuil, a few minutes ago or 1 hour ago, we were interviewing one of our guests from Acuil. It really disturbed us a lot. But at least Lagos State network is a bit complying with the new policies that no more fight in Lagos State. Everyone needs to remain calm. And we appreciate that maybe our minister will come back. Let's hope for the best. Is either his bundles are done or he has issues with the network. And let's be to our viewers, if you are watching and you know you are son and daughter of Lagos State, even if you are not from Lake, you are entitled to ask your questions under the comment section. I might not be in a position to capture every questions that any one of you may ought to hear answers from our honorable minister. So you are free to type it, and the people on behind the scene will always display them after our questions here in the studio. So we will still have more time to go, and honorable minister is still having much time to answer some of the questions in regard to the issue of teachers. As he is explaining, if you have any more questions, you are free to comment. He will join us shortly. And you need to know, other citizens of South Sudan, that every leadership must have visions and mission. No only leadership without vision, then that is a joke if you don't have vision. And we have heard from him that education is one of the vision of the SPLM, which is the ruling party headed by President Salva Kiir. Let's hope that this free education in South Sudan will be implemented. As we are waiting for him, we need to listen to some clip here. Thank you.
Mighty God. dear Lord. Oh, bless, 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 bless with the queens of Loreto. Oh, bless as we are for success. Nothing is so dear as the mystery of this glorious peaceful place, Loreto.
The honorable ministers present, the invited guests, our director, teaching and non-teaching staff, my fellow students, good afternoon. I'm Ariantina Deng, the head girl of Loreto Secondary School. I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate you, Your Excellency, for paying us a visit. We don't take this for granted, for we have anxiously been waiting for your visit, and we are very happy that you have found time from your busy schedule to pay us a visit. And we shall be looking forward to more visits in the future, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, seated here are your daughters. When I was informed that I would be giving a speech in front of you, I went to them. I asked them what they wanted me to tell you, Your Excellency. Your daughters had so many things they wanted me to tell you, Your Excellency. But one thing that kept being raised was gratitude for what you have done for our state, Your Excellency. They told me to thank you for facilitating peace in Lagos State that we now see in Your Excellency. Your Excellency, you have brought peace in our state. Long gone are those days when we wouldn't spend a day without hearing gunshots, Your Excellency. Long gone are those days when we were ever mourning for the murder of our loved ones, Your Excellency. Long gone are those days when we were scared to move with our cattle for the fear of being raided, Your Excellency. Nowadays, even a woman can move alone with her cattle along this road with no fear. And who is to be appreciated if not you, Your Excellency? As the future mothers of this nation, Your Excellency, we promise together we shall be the agents of peace in this nation, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, we thank you. The level of girls being forced to early marriages has highly gone down. Many girls are getting to stay in school, and the future of this country largely depends on the education of these women, Your Excellency. And who is to be appreciated if not you? We feel appreciated, Your Excellency. We feel loved and we feel protected. We are the light of this country. We are the future of this country. And we are the better tomorrow of this country that people always talk about. Your Excellency, we study every day and night, keeping in our minds that we shall lead this country. One of these ladies sitting down here, Your Excellency, shall be the governor of this state or any other state. Your Excellency, one of your daughters seated here shall lead our nation, Your Excellency. As the future mothers of this nation, Your Excellency, we promise we shall lead this nation well. Thirdly, Your Excellency, we assure that there will be no shortage of food this year. The people have heard your call for cultivation. They have heard your call, Your Excellency. Even us here too, we have heard your call. Your Excellency, our fields are green today, all because of your inspiration. If it wasn't for Your Excellency, we don't know. Your Excellency, we are sure that we shall enjoy grandness till the next planting season. And it's all because of you. And we shall not forget to invite you to enjoy with us Amakwanga, Your Excellency. Fourthly, Your Excellency, gold has been discovered in South Sudan. A few days ago, the whole nation witnessed our flag being flown high. It was a proud moment for the country. Our South Sudanese men crushed other countries in the recent basketball competitions, and it was a very proud moment for the country, and we are very proud of them, Your Excellency. Sports, especially basketball, is the goal that has been discovered in South Sudan, Your Excellency. Seated among the stars here are talented basketballers. Where are you? We have been having friendlies with our neighboring schools, but the girls have requested me through your office so that you can initiate inter-school competitions where talented girls will be scouted and signed with our national flag. If given this chance, Your Excellency, we shall not let you down. We have had very many friendlies, but a competition organized by the government, it has more weight and more publicity. So we're requesting you humbly, Your Excellency. As the future of this nation, we promise we shall make sports the new oil of this nation. I would like to end my speech by quoting Mary Ward, who said, "Women will do great things in time to come." On the 16th of this month, you said, "The church and the government are one," and we also believe in that. Thank you, Excellency.
Loramuda kaki dinglor bodir by num dan. A young Loramuda kaki yoglor bodir by num dan. A young Lord bodir in Gagolangi Bengamayanga Moda Kimar. A young Lord bodir in Gagolangi Bengamayanga Moda Kimar. A young Adir Gayalujum, Adir Gatubijan, Lormagal Bodanyal, Adir Gayalujum, Adir Gatubijan, Lormagal Bodanyal, Umi Joladium can the Kupali, Kegadira Yangi, Lormagal Bodanyal, the Bong of my jar, the Tokium Malel Kegadira Yangi, Lormagal Bodanyal, Martin Kudur, Tingi, Gabala Wood in a religion with Indira Yangi, Lormagal Bodanyal. Ayer ka yeduken, ayer ka dubiken, normal mo ganyan. I love you.
Could you please by you to know? If you walk by you to not. If you are by you, you are ruled under. In the wise body, you are ruled at Rumbek. The king got the point when you will by you, you are ruled under. I will find out that I will believe. Kaburungati, Jingat, whatever that you are, die of me. Jadi alim problem problem dia kepada kemudian kemudian kasih papawan dia cuma tu bicara ini semua dia. Jika tempat tu yang kita ada yang muda, hanya macam jaga dia dia. Semua macam jaga itu macam. Acuil dia dia long sudah jalan teman. Acuil balik kita. Itu kita banyak roda yang luar biasa yang mana pun. Acuil balik kita yang mana waisan. Itu kita tinggal aku jual mana talakan. Acuil balik kita mana lagi. Ôi quà đến cái nhang cùng nhang yêu cũng nhang già trên những nhà lúc gạt là ngar ngom panda untuk di luar punor bukan mau nyaran yang baik jaga tahu kaguan mainan main lagi tiron naga je jangan bonga penon tiu binang kot terbagi wiran kegaji yubak mari jod mulai jod panda jod jod leban nongo yud luar budak tongo dari jod leban nongo dijubat kabin lalu kamu turun gong yang naik katong terbaik kornyet dua barang wedai dia belok berungan orang dimen kiamat oi jon menabu malam mabung jan majurador nyengpiu lalu marial rong gam kon galam boy maker magu dan mutir pai uteng pelam terpin juralim mama yorkan oi manong ing motor beye diani ang supul maker ke keloye wajal gonna tell you, you go, long you I won't go to the wing, you're more, don't let you million dollars, young fight, get out, not going to young leg, you never get your friend, never run at you, uncle. You can I hear you look very good, your friend, you're a good level, you are the Congo, got a good level, you quite good, feeling your girl, young guy, you got to get for you, but I'm with I wanna go to a lot of well, you can bother the red.
Yurubela Bubagam Lirwon, Wundae, Agara, Yakulatam, Ulel Badalam, Yam, Wundaje, Tajali, Rumbek, Nadia, Puloy, Abolu, Agar, Madame, Tegi, I take a band of good man who could do, Puman, Yana, Kariaka, Agam, Wunjala, a big. Okay, tell my now you Rumbek, you know what you're coming. Okay, I could really fire. Yeah, no, you walk, you walk, I you walk, you Remember, you know, Mira, Ganya, Unzala, Makoi Makur, Kainana, Oinangiman, Maya, Jumloina, Lonely to be you, cry, good you are there, and you, and you have a young, you would Allah, you don't care what people got, what you are doing. You don't know, and we are getting Allah, you run a government, watching a thing, they're going to
Thank you so much for that long break, Chairman Isaac Tiang. To our viewers, we apologize for the interruptions of our guest and interview with the Lagos State Minister of Education. We were still having more 2 questions to go, but unfortunately, internet interrupted our discussions or our conversation. We will schedule another interview with him because there are more things that need to people to talk about in regard to the education sector in Lagos State. One of the questions before was the issue of corruption, which was raised by the governor of Lagos State during his speech of the closing 3 days conference in the states, where he mentioned some of the government officials that have eaten some money which were meant to transform education sector. We were to ask that questions to the minister. Another questions which we were to ask was the issue of missionaries school. There were some schools built by the missionaries across Lagos States. Recently, those schools were claimed back by the government. So we were to find out what policy is that and when did it happen and why are they not maintaining those schools? Because when they were under the missionaries, missionaries always maintained the school in case of any issue. But unfortunately, the internet interrupted us. we will schedule another interview with the minister to come and talk to us. Up to this juncture, I would like to give thanks to our Minister of Education, Lagos State, Honorable Nelson Makoi Makur, for his time to come and talk to us today in regard to the issues surrounding education sector in Lagos State, including the teachers' issue, which he was about to explain more before he fall off. We thank you for that, Honorable, and we look forward for further engagement and further discussions with your docket, and especially you as the Minister of Education. To our viewers, thank you so much for being there always to come and listen, and also to ask some questions to our national minister. Possibly we might bring him during fixing Lagos State. That will be on Saturday on our time, and it will be on Sunday in Australia time. Possibly every citizen will be awake during that time and will be free to discuss. Thank you so much for that. On behalf of Lagos State Media, we are always grateful to you, and we always appreciate your time to support Lagos State Media. Furthermore, you always be there to support. Lagos State Media is your media, and always give you any information that you ought to hear as a South Sudan citizen. And it is our duty and our obligation to bring news to your doorstep, rather. Thank you so much to my team behind the scene in the studio. Thank you so much, President Isaac Tieng, for being there throughout the night. I'm pretty sure it's now morning hours in Australia. Will allow you to rest. Abraham Adit, thank you so much. You are not even sleeping there in Africa, in Kampala. You're always there to check how we are moving on with the interview. Deputy President Bol Makur, we are grateful you are there. And to our Minister of General Information, Agar Deng Mabok, thank you so much. We are always happy for you, and let's keep pushing. Lagos State is there because of you. Thank you so much. May God bless each and every South Sudanese. Be blessed. Bye.
It's your boy Young Love, I give him that time. Pancho Lagos State, Panchi America, Panyi Dwal, Pancho Lagos State, Panchi America, Panyi Dwal, Walk on the lake, Kankara, Watana watching, Oga, Level Lake, Gear, Pow, Very Lake, Panda with Yay, Panchi America, Panya Dwal, Chingatonga Pandon, could you ever buy a check out? Papu Panda Jiro, what they be Dwal eventing. Lagos State, Panchi America, Panyi Dwal, Pancho Lagos State, Panchi America, Panyi Dwal, Walk on the lake, Kankara, Watana watching, Oga, Level Lake, Gear, Pow, Very Lake, Panda with Yay, Panchi America, Panya Dwal, Chingatonga Pandon, could you ever buy a check out? Papu Panda Jiro, what they be Dwal eventing.